and 11 home runs.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyo and Didi Woodson. We just had Michael Bullock a second. Oh, okay, we do got Michael Bullock. Cool. So the whole band is
Yeah,
here.
I just accidentally hit the hang up button.
You Morocco mold.
Yeah.
Too early in the night for that, Bullock. Really?
No, I'm just saying I accidentally hit when I tried to hit the mute button.
Okay. I'll forgive you for that. For now. Don't let that happen again. But anyway, welcome to the Cerebral Smack Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry we didn't do one last night. Many of you guys may know yesterday was my birthday, and I had to work, so I wanted it to at least take a day, to enjoy it and everything else. And thank you to everybody for all the love and the support and the well wishes. That was overwhelming what happened yesterday. That was really awesome. Thank you, each and all, one and all, very much. But, well, here we are. So, SmackDown Live, which was last night. And we are definitely on the road to Money in the Bank. And throughout the night, we will be talking about the stars or the superstars that's going to be a part of the men's and women's Money in the Bank as it relates to SmackDown Live. But before we did anything on that, we are pleased to announce, and we started it off when Michael Cole of Monday Night Raw had a special interview with the WWE champion, Kofi Kingston, of course, alongside his running buddy, Xavier Woods from the New Day. And they were talking about the WrestleMania moment, talking about winning the title, which was really cool because it's always cool to rehash that a little bit. But they talked about Kofi's journey from the Elimination Chamber to the Gauntlets to the magical moment of WrestleMania. And then they talk about Kevin Owens betraying the New Day, what happened a week ago. And thus, it led to a moment where Kevin Owens did show up, explaining his reasoning about why he did what he did, and actually attacking Xavier Woods at the end of it, saying that Kofi was not championship material and doesn't believe that he deserves to be the WWE champion. All right. I love the storyline that they're doing on SmackDown Live. They're making Kofi feel really sympathetic that you're not the prototypical WWE champion, that what you did at Mania was a fluke. What you did was lucky. What you did was, a needle in a haystack moment. It's lightning in a bottle, and you caught it on one lucky night. That you're not a prototypical WWE champion. You're not an AJ Styles. You're not a Roman Reigns. You're not a Kevin Owens. You're not a Daniel Bryan. You are not a main event player. That's what they've been talking about the whole time, is that you're not a main event player. You're a B-plus player. You're not worthy of WWE champion. But Kofi is worthy of it. He's busted his butt 11 years to get to where he's at. To win it at WrestleMania was the most unbelievable moment we've ever seen. I love the storyline that this is being drawn. I love how this is really getting me to really think that this is. I'm so for Kofi Kingston right now as the WWE champion. So I can't say anything more about this. To me, this was one of the segments of the night, if not the segment of the night. Anthony Floyo, come on in. What do you feel about this segment?
Well, I'll tell you, MF, I feel great about it. Kofi Kingston entered the ring. You notice he came out by himself, no Xavier, and of course Big E's still injured. He opened SmackDown Live by delivering an inspirational speech about overcoming. He admitted only trusting Kevin Owens because he believes in second chances. And then, of course, Kofi then issued the challenge to KO for Money in the Bank. KO comes out. He accepts it, so it's on. Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, WWE Championship on the line at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And Owens also cut a promo in which he said Kingston is not championship material and is over his head and drowning as champ. Xavier Woods, injured by Owens last week, ran out to attack from behind, but he got beat down for his troubles. So yeah, this was definitely one of my segments of the night. Absolutely. So I have nothing bad to say about this. I mean, we were all with Kofi on his journey. You know, he was nowhere near this title scene many months ago. But nowadays, look what happens. Mustafa Ali suffers a freak injury. It opens the door for Kofi to get in. He was basically just filler. But then the fans just got so behind him because of the gauntlets and the chamber and all that. And then Mania and Man Alive. I mean, just amazing. We already knew about his magical run to the title. The attention span is far longer than creative will admit. WrestleMania was less than a month ago. All of that backstory and promo work amounted to nothing when fans just cared about what Kofi had to say about Kevin Owens. But, the promo was fine, and that's basically all there is to say about that. So I definitely like the segment here. Great work by both men. Great mic work here. Looking forward to the match at Money in the Bank. Definitely has a potential to be a fight of the night contender. Absolutely. Based on their bodies of work. So, and to me, if I'm going to be real honest, I think Kevin Owens is the perfect first title feud for Kofi Kingston. I mean, this was originally supposed to be the new Daniel Bryan, obviously, but Daniel Bryan is out with injury, a very serious one, I might add. So that's why they had to pull the trigger on this KO turn right here. So that, in case you were wondering. So nothing more to say. One of my segments of the night. I could go as far as to say this was the segment of the night. I'm going to be honest with you. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I like this promo here. I mean, basically, this was, Kevin Owens. Well, when he came out, he basically trying to get everyone to believe that Kofi Kingston is not championship material. You're not worthy of holding that title. And of course, before that, Kingston recalling the whole journey to basically him accomplishing that WrestleMania moment, becoming the champion, and he wants to prove all the doubters, all the naysayers, and show them that he is championship material. He's worthy of holding that title. So KO accepts the challenge, and and of course, KO tries to get under the skin of Kofi Kingston by going after Xavier Woods and basically putting him on the shelf. So I like how they're building this. So this basically has a chance to be the fight of the night, based on the body of work, and if they continue the storyline the way they're doing it right now. So we'll wait and see. So I like this segment. A good way to start off this edition of SmackDown Live. So Twisted Angel DD Woodson, come on in. Give us your thoughts on the opening segment and your early thoughts on the match at Money in the Bank.
Well, as far as the segment, I enjoyed the banter between the two. The only thing I kind of have a little bit of a gripe about is the history lesson, because a lot of it is still really fresh on all of our minds, and they're getting really repetitive with it. Not something we all need to keep rehashing every week, is going back 3 weeks and just reliving the last 3 weeks that we've already done, especially when it's that fresh. But other than that, yeah, the segment in a whole was really good. Like I said, I like the banter between Owens and Kofi. That was very well done. And even having Xavier come out there in the end and try to attack Kevin Owens, that was really good too. It's really building up to the match that we're going to have at the pay-per-view, which looks like it's going to be a very good match. At least I hope it will be. But if they keep doing these kind of segments like this, I mean, we're gonna have a good build up for it. So, not much more I'm gonna say about it. Fletch, I toss it back to you.
And we toss it to one of the fights that was highly promoted during the week, and that is the one-on-one match. Becky Two Belts, the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch goes one-on-one with newest SmackDown Women's Superstar Bayley. The winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 39 seconds was Becky Lynch. She disarmed Bayley for the win. However, once the fight was over, the Queen showed up and laid out both ladies. Anthony Florio, we know this is about Money in the Bank, no doubt about it, because Becky and Charlotte's going to go at it one-on-one. But very interesting that she went after Bayley.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't announced the Money in the Bank women yet. If Bayley's in there, oh boy. Oh boy.
You have to take out the threats. That's what you got to do. So, but as far as the match is concerned, this was a 2.5 to 3 star match. Bayley looked much better and more competitive a week ago against Charlotte, though that should be no surprise as she was working with the best women's wrestler in the company today. Here, she looked competitive enough, but the match was doomed by a terribly placed split-screen commercial break. It would have been better served with more time and no annoying break in the heart of the action. As it is, the match was a fine reminder that Bayley remains a threat while putting the spotlight back on the Becky and Charlotte saga that feels like it just might never end, and it feels like it's never ending. Fresh opportunities. Those are the passwords right there, folks. Fresh opportunities. So nothing more to say on that. 2.5 to 3 stars. Solid match. But I think Bayley's effort against Charlotte was just a smidgen better, although the effort with Becky was fine too. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about 2.5 to 3 as well. I mean, Bayley continues to get better. I mean, since she came to SmackDown Live in the Superstar Shakeup, and I felt this was the right move. And so far, in some of the matches she's been in, it's made her look good and look like a possible threat. And you could see why Charlotte basically attacked her. Well, we haven't revealed the Money in the Bank participants, so Fletch will get to that eventually. Yeah, this obviously builds obviously with another showdown with Charlotte and Becky. Well, basically some people are looking forward to it, but others are basically thinking it's at the point of go away, and I'm basically one of them. And Florio knows where I'm going with this when we had our SmackDown chat last week, and my little tirade I went on.
Yes, and thankfully you've had a week to recover from that. Because let me tell you, folks, if we had this show last week, let me tell you, you would have gone on the mother of all Byron Saxton rant, and that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, a very bad thing.
Well, I'm gonna go on a little bit of it just to give a preview. I'm not gonna go full out.
Go on, Saxton.
Just no, this is just a little thing. So, okay, when it comes to Charlotte Flair, I got a problem with her. I mean, her getting another title opportunity and her whining about why. I mean, that she never was pinned, but this was why it was called Winner Take All at WrestleMania. And you think, oh, I never got pinned, I deserve a title opportunity. Well, Becky Lynch brought up a good point. I mean, your right mind, Charlotte Flair, gives you the right to have another shot at the title when you got other women on the SmackDown roster like Bailey, like Ember Moon, like Mickey James. I mean, I could go on the entire list of SmackDown women that at least could get at least an opportunity to challenge Becky Two Belts. And she has the nerve to tell Bailey last week to go to the back of the line. That's not the way it goes, Charlotte. I think it's you who should be in the back of the line. But because you're the queen and your last name's Flair, you automatically earn the right? Absolutely not. I want to see other women get a shot at the title. So get that through your thick skull, Charlotte Flair. So that's just some of what I was going to say last week. So I really got nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Don't forget, she's also Vince's favorite because he handpicked her to go into the match.
Whatever, Vince McDinkleberg.
Yeah. No, I can agree with a lot of the sentiments that you were going to say last week. I mean, Charlotte does not deserve to be in this match again. She's had her shot. She's done, I don't know how many matches for this title. I mean, it's getting old. It is to the point of go home. I think a lot of us would have rather have seen Bailey or Amber or anybody else at the pay-per-view going up against Becky. At least Raw has a fresh women's match where SmackDown's doing the stale women's match this time. So, yeah, it is what it is. It was an okay match. I'm going to give it probably 2 3/4 stars. I mean, giving Bailey the loss, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it kind of sucked at the same time. I mean, you know, at least she's not losing to some of the other talent that isn't as good. So, but yeah, like I said, there's not much I'm going to say about it. I mean, it's a sore subject, I think, for a lot of us, just because of the fact that we're getting another repeat match that a lot of people just don't want to see anymore. So, Fletch, I'm going to just toss it over to you.
All right, very well. So, the next thing we had was I hate to do this, guys, but we got a couple of cutouts along the way. So first off, we had Kayla Braxton was talking with Jeff Hardy. Lars Sullivan comes out, destroys the Hardy Boys right before our very eyes. All right, fine, whatever. Then we're gonna get into this. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The 4 men representing SmackDown and joining Ricochet, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. The 4 men representing SmackDown Live are Mustafa Ali, and yes, I called him by his actual name, not the Ali bullcrap. Finn Balor, Andrade Cien Almas, and the Viper, Randy Orton. I mean, Michael Bullock, give me your thoughts on the SmackDown 4. This is a pretty good lineup that's countering Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty good lineup when it comes to the SmackDown portion. I mean, you got Randy Orton, who is obviously a former Money in the Bank winner, and who was successful in cashing in the Money in the Bank contract, so he knows a lot about it. Mustafa Ali, I mean, man, I'm interested to see how he does in this kind of environment with his high flying tactics. I mean, he could do a lot of crazy things with it. But then again, you could say the same for Finn Balor, and who knows what he'll bring, and Andrade Cien Almas. Yeah, so that could be this could make for a pretty interesting men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I mean, when you got the other four from Monday Night Raw, obviously the one person on Monday Night Raw that I don't think deserves the opportunity is Baron Corbin, which I still, for the life of me, don't understand why he's getting this opportunity, but that's another story for another day. So, and some people are saying that at this moment, they think Drew McIntyre could be the man that could walk away with the Money in the Bank, but we'll just have to wait and see. So Dee Woodson, I mean, your thoughts on the men's Money in the Bank field, especially from the SmackDown side?
Yeah, the SmackDown side looks good. It's pretty strong. And I don't see why any one of these four really doesn't deserve to be in there. Yeah, the one that on the Raw side that doesn't really deserve it is Corbin, but of course, it is what it is. He has to have his hand in just about everything. Probably another one of McMahon's things. I don't know, but yeah, it's becoming and looking like it's going to be a pretty exciting men's Money in the Bank match. I mean, you've got the high flyers in there. You've got the the technicals. You've got you got a little bit of everything going into this match, and this should have the what we expect out of a ladder match when we get to the pay-per-view. So I have nothing really negative to say about this. As far as the one we skipped, the only relative thing there would be the fact that Matt and Jeff dropped the SmackDown titles. But other than that, I agree that should have been a cutout. Other than that, so I will toss it over to you, Fletch.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Jeff Hardy suffered an injury and basically had to relinquish the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Very unfortunate, to say the very least, on that front. But for the Money in the Bank, oh man. I mean, all right, if you're Ali, this is the moment you've been waiting for. A grand opportunity in the spotlight now. Now, if you guys remember, this was supposed to be Mustafa Ali's moment about back in February. He was going to get the monster push, that he was going to get a WWE title fight with Daniel Bryan at Elimination Chamber. Well, no, at Roadblock, end of the line, and that was going to be his moment where he was going to get a shot at the WWE Championship. Come up a little short, and that was going to lead to Kevin Owens versus Bryan at WrestleMania. But when Ali got hurt, insert Kofi Kingston, and the rest was history. Kofi went on to win the belt. Ali now has a shot to make a name for himself in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And for me, they are going to compare him against another high flyer, which is Ricochet. So you got two high flyers, two young cruiserweights at the 205 level, and these guys are going to tear the house down. You want to talk about high aerial acrobatics and absolute insanity? That's going to be these two men. Then you got Finn Balor, basically the extraordinary man that does extraordinary things, the reigning and defending Intercontinental Champion. You don't really need him for the Money in the Bank, but just for him alone, just his name is credible enough to put him in a match like this. And this is going to be insane to see Balor in there. That's going to be amazing. Randy Orton, the veteran of the Money in the Bank, a former winner, won the whole thing when he cashed in on Daniel Bryan to win the WWE title, and the Age of Orton was restarted at that time. So you got him. Then you got Andrade Cien Almas, the youngest, one of the young talents that I believe is the odds-on favorite on the SmackDown side. Now, Drew McIntyre is the favorite on the Raw end. Andrade is the odds-on favorite on the SmackDown side. Everybody wants to see Andrade walk away as la campeón de WWE de físico completo. They want him to be the world champion. And on top of that, if Andrade wins it all, if Andrade wins the Money in the Bank, he's a heartbeat away from winning the title. And remember, in the history of the Money in the Bank, that whenever you are the Money in the Bank holder, over 80% of the time, you've gone on to win the title. So obviously, if McIntyre's the one for the Raw brand to win it all and become the next Universal Champion, for me and for many people on the SmackDown side, Andrade is the one for SmackDown Live. If Andrade wins the Money in the Bank, he's almost assured that he will become the next WWE champion. Plus, on top of that, the reason why that SmackDown reacquired Andrade was because of, now I heard the rumors about Charlotte Flair maybe had a little hand in this. That was one theory. But the other theory is because of Fox, the Fox television network. And remember, SmackDown Live is going to be on Fox this October. And on top of that, Andrade Cien Almas is a big star in the Mexican territory, in the Latin American territory. What fitting would it be for Andrade Cien Almas to be on Fox Deportes as the WWE champion? Guys, this would look so good and would be such a major thing for me. At the end of the day, this would be unbelievable. So, that's just my personal thoughts in a whole. Anthony Florio, give me your thoughts on the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
SmackDown's got the better field. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'll even openly admit it. Randy Orton, experience, we all know it. 2013, won the Money in the Bank ladder match. SummerSlam, of course, crashed the party that was Daniel Bryan. We all remember that moment. That's when the whole authority nonsense began. So obviously he's going to be the veteran carrying this match, whereas Natty's going to be the veteran carrying the women's match. But Orton is obviously being used as the veteran here. Finn Balor, Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Him and Mustafa Ali on ladders. Oh, that's going to be hella fun. There's no doubt about it. That's going to be hella fun. And then throw in Andrade. Yes, MF. I mean, Andrade's got that rocket pack on, man. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when it comes to the SmackDown side, absolutely he's the favorite. And then when it comes to the Raw side, there's no question about it. It's Drew McIntyre. So, question is, who ultimately gets the big moment here? Will it be Drew McIntyre or will it be Andrade? I mean, they eventually want to have McIntyre feud with Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship over on Raw, which would be an awesome feud if they book it right. And Andrade, wow. I mean, imagine if Andrade could end up being the one who might dethrone Kofi Kingston. Kofi's not going to hold that thing forever. I mean, they gave him the feel-good moment that the fans obviously pressured them into giving us, and we got it. It was amazing. It's one we'll never forget. One of the greatest feel-good moments in history. But who knows? Maybe Andrade could be the one who puts an end to it. He could be the buzzkill here. And just imagine. Now, here's the thing here. Andrade, Charlotte Flair, we know the situation. I could eventually see them maybe one day if they decide to go there, MF and Bullock and Didi. Imagine if we could end up seeing Charlotte Flair once again as the SmackDown Women's Champion, and if they eventually have Andrade become the WWE Champion. Could you imagine those two as a power couple, as the newest power couple in WWE? Holy Lord. Ooh. Think about that for a minute.
I don't see how WWE can do that.
Well, technically they are right now, because if you believe all the internet rumors
I did hear those rumors.
Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are a power couple right now, and they are Universal. And for Becky Lynch, she's Becky Two Belt. She's not only the SmackDown Women's Champion, but the Raw Women's Champion as well.
And she could be exclusive to Raw eventually.
If she loses the belt. Yeah, if she loses the SmackDown Women's, if she drops that belt to Charlotte Flair and beats Lacey Evans, she automatically goes to Monday Night Raw. Yes.
And that would be a welcome addition to Monday Night Raw. You could have her and Rollins as a power couple on Monday Night Raw with the Raw Women's Championship and the Universal Championship respectively. And maybe in the future, maybe we could see Andrade and Charlotte Flair as the next power couple over on SmackDown Live, MF. I mean, I know you would love to see that. So, just some wishful thinking down the road. But I love the field. It should be a great matchup here. And it's either McIntyre or Andrade. That's all there is to say about that. So, of course, I'm going to be pulling for Raw. Now, here's the thing. Last year, Raw won both Money in the Bank ladder matches. So, could it happen again? Of course, I'm going to hope for it. Of course, MF's going to be like, come on, let's SmackDown get at least one. So, we'll have to wait and find out. It just depends on how the storylines progress. So nothing more to say. I love the field, absolutely. So, just some food for thought down the line. Let's move on.
Very well. We're going to move on indeed. And the next thing that we had was Kairi Sane and Asuka fighting two local jobbers. One kind of resembled a little bit of a Poison Ivy from a DC villain. The other one, I have no idea what that was about. But at the end, Asuka and Kairi Sane wins the match. And then on top of that, after the fight was over, the Iconics were down at ringside, and there was a little bit of some jawing going on. So it looks like we might have our next challengers for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Kairi Sane and Asuka versus Billie Kay and Peyton Royce in the Iconics. So it looks like they're going to be the ones. All right, so we're going to move on. We're not going to waste any time. Next thing we had was Shane McMahon basically ripping on Roman Reigns basically for what he did during the Superstar shakeup as he Superman punched Mr. McMahon, and then consequently threw Roman Reigns into a handicap match with two guys I didn't even know got called to the SmackDown Live roster, but it was the B team. Yeah, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel's now on SmackDown Live. And then on top of that, you had Elias as a special guest referee. So, but when it was all said and done, Roman Reigns rises to the occasion one more time, wins the match at 11 minutes and 14 seconds. I believe, Didi Woodson, you lead off on this. So give me your thoughts on Roman Reigns winning in the handicap match.
It was a solid. No, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Are we doing the segment or are we doing the match?
It could be a 2-for-1. We can do 2-for-1 then.
Well, the segment was solid. The only thing that I'm to the point of go home with is how much we are seeing Shane McMahon, because he's on both shows with looks like almost two different feuds. I mean, Shane, go home. We're tired of you. You don't need to be in the middle of everything. Plus, you're a hypocrite. You take out the Miz's dad and then complain about everybody taking out your dad. I mean, go home. I'm done with you. The match, it was boring. Went too long. I'm only going to give it about a star. I mean, you had Elias out there even getting involved. I mean, it just, to me, it was a train wreck. So I'm giving it worst fight of the night. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch, I'm tossing it back.
All right, now I can't disagree with that. It was indeed worst fight of the night. It should have been a little more better, but it is what it is. There was really nothing more to say about that. The segment was solid. It was good for what it was worth. It took longer than it was supposed to, but I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Roman a sympathetic figure. They're trying to have him do the overcoming the odds again, but you can only go so much before we start feeling a little bit of that Roman fatigue is what I like to call it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
A McMahon stacking the odds against the babyface has been done many times before and to much better returns. Shane O'Mac, despite being a great performer in his own right, is not his father, and it shows in the heat surrounding this segment. A major misstep that did not create any interest whatsoever in Roman overcoming the heels. The match, would you look at that? The babyface overcomes the heel obstacles before a bigger, badder, and more imposing threat. Yes, Roman Reigns is gearing up for a match with Elias at Money in the Bank, but do not be at all surprised if he overcomes the sinister songster, only to find himself confronted by a more dangerous foe, the likes of which the evil McMahons will be driven to align themselves with. A certain freak, perhaps? Wouldn't it be no freak accident? That's all I can say. So, match was an NA for me. I'm not even going to dignify it with a rating. Went on way too long. I feel bad for SmackDown Live a little bit because SmackDown Live is getting some of the dead weight from Monday Night Raw. I mean, you got the biggest load of dead weight of all, Jinder Mahal. You can have him. Don't ever put him back on Raw again. Number one. Number two, Elias was a little bit of some dead weight on Raw. I'm glad they got rid of him too. You can have him, MF. Besides, you're high on him. You're the only one who's really high on him, so it's only fitting he's on your show. And then Dallas and Axel. I mean, yes, they had a nice little moment as the Raw Tag Team Champions, but yeah, now they're back to being those jobber guys. And how could it take Roman Reigns 10, 11 minutes to beat these guys? He should have beaten them in like 2 to 3. And then you could have advanced the angle with Elias. So that's all I can say on that. So I'm glad that Raw got rid of some of their dead weight, but unfortunately, you didn't get rid of the biggest piece of dead weight of all. Unfortunately, we're still stuck with them. So, and you already know who I'm talking about. I'm not even gonna mention who I'm. You already know that answer. So nothing more to say on this. So segment was okay. Match, unnecessary. Trifle unnecessary. Bullet, go ahead.
Yeah, the segment was fine, but Shane McMahon, I mean, he looks like a total doofus. I mean, why do you have him on both shows feuding, with The Miz and Roman Reigns? I mean, oh yeah, Shane, it was okay for you to do what you did to The Miz's father, but when somebody does to your father, you're all crying like a little baby and trying to punish Roman Reigns. Yeah, well, the McMahons, stacking the odds on a babyface. How many times have we seen this before, guys? Anybody? Anybody have an answer?
Too many.
Yeah. It's at the point of go away. I'm getting sick of this, and it was fine at the beginning when you had Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon going at it. But this has been going on for way too long. The McMahons just need to basically just go away and just not be seen on TV anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, as far as the match, no rating for me. I'm sorry. Let's just move on. I'm done with this.
All right. So then we moved on to what was indeed well, then they talked about a couple of other things that happened. They aired the Firefly House Fun House. Then we got into a tag team fight, which was the four men that's gonna represent SmackDown Live in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Ali and Finn Balor versus Randy Orton and Andrade. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 32 seconds was the face team, Finn Balor and Ali. Look, I'm gonna say it. This was all right. I think it was all right for what it was worth. Nothing too significant here. 2 stars for me at the end of it, and nothing more to say. So, Anthony, I give it to you.
A solid 2.5 for me, MF. This may not have been any better or worse than any other tag team match, but 4 extraordinary performers helped elevate it beyond the standard fare. Ali picking up the win allows him to continue his magnificent run as one of the breakout stars of 2019. Randy Orton's RKO to Finn Balor sets up a showdown between him and Balor, if that's a match that WWE Creative opts to explore, and I seriously hope they do. A Randy Orton Finn Balor IC title feud, that could be interesting. Absolutely, I would love to see it. This was meant to shine the spotlight on the 4 men who will compete for the coveted Money in the Bank briefcase. While they could have come up with something more unique for them to do, it was still a fun and inoffensive way to spend a few minutes of TV time. So a solid 2.5 for me. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 on the tag team match. I mean, it was fine for what it was. I mean, but like you said, this was basically to shine it on the 4 SmackDown Live combatants in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So, yeah, nothing really much to write home about. So, I'm just going to give it to Dee Woodson.
Yeah, it was about 2.5. It was good and a little fun spirit for the match. I mean, they did some good bumps post match. Having Orton lay out Balor and having Ollie at the end being the single man that was really standing up tall. Was kind of nice to see. Something a little different there. But not much more I'm going to say about it. I mean, Vega even got involved, which is something everybody knows I'm not real high on that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. So, Fletch, it's yours.
All right, guys. And then at that moment, we did have a lot of stuff during the course of the night. They were introducing the women's Money in the Bank ladder match for the SmackDown side, and then we do have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 4 women representing SmackDown Live to combat Natalia, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Alexa Bliss. The 4 for Team SmackDown are Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. That is your 8 representing the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And Anthony, I'm going to toss it to you to lead this off. This is a loaded, stacked women's side on SmackDown side. Raw has some good talent. SmackDown's got some heavy hitters themselves as well.
A former winner in Carmella, the inaugural winner, 287 days held, cashed in on Charlotte Flair. We know the story. Bayley, great opportunity for her. It looks like they're investing themselves more in Bayley. It looks like Bayley could be in line for a push down the line, which is well deserved after being lost in the shuffle on Monday Night Raw, even though she had a run with the Raw Women's title. Right moment, it came at the wrong time. It should have been at WrestleMania 33, but that's another story. And then you have Mandy Rose. As much as I love her, and I do, I got to consider her the weak link of the group, if I'm going to be honest. And then you have Ember Moon, another one who has unlimited potential. I mean, she was a star at NXT. She got called up to Raw last year. I had high hopes for her, but unfortunately, she got lost in the shuffle. But then again, she also battled injury, which I think led to her being lost in the shuffle on Raw, which was a damn shame, criminally underutilized. So I'm glad that Bayley and Ember are on SmackDown Live now. Now they're going to get their opportunities, and now both of them have an opportunity of a lifetime to come out of it to possibly, get the briefcase. Right now, if I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes, well, actually, and you also have another former winner. You got both winners. You have the inaugural winner, Carmella, for SmackDown Live. You have last year's winner, Alexa Bliss, from Monday Night Raw. And we all remember what she did in Chicago last year, winning the contract and then cashing it in a short time later in the night on Nia Jax to become the Raw Women's Champion once again. And so, yeah, looking at it, I mean, it's a tough one to call. I mean, I think with Raw winning both matches last year, there's a great chance SmackDown Live could end up winning both matches again here. It's very possible. I mean, for me, for SmackDown, I would have to say Bayley right now is my favorite because, look what they've done. They put Bayley against Charlotte and Becky each of the last 2 weeks. What does that tell you? She might be in line. She could be in line for a run down the road. Well deserved. She's a great, great talent. It's just a damn shame she got criminally underutilized on Monday Night Raw. Another one who was a big star in NXT, and then from there on Raw, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, Alexa would probably have to be the favorite for Raw. Considering she's had to go through the concussion and what she's been going through lately. Hasn't been in action much, but I would love to see, a fresh face win that. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Naomi win it. I mean, Naomi had had a couple of great runs on SmackDown Live. I hope that they'll utilize her on Raw to her best abilities. And, it's a great field. It has the potential to be a really good match. I mean, the Money in the Bank matches always have the potential to be something fun, and 81% of Money in the Bank winners, men or women, have gone on to become the Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, and in the case of the men, only the WWE Champion and the World Heavyweight Champion. We have not yet seen it with the Universal Championship. Maybe that changes this year. For that to happen, Drew would probably have to win it for Raw. So, or anybody for Raw. Anybody but Constable Bleepface. That's all I can say on that. So, but I love the field, though. I love the field right now. Bayley is my odds-on favorite for SmackDown. For Raw, I would have to say maybe a toss-up between Alexa and Naomi. So, but we got a couple weeks to think about it. So, nothing more to say. Bullock, your early thoughts on the women's Money in the Bank field?
I think it looks strong when it comes to the SmackDown side. I mean, but then again, I think the SmackDown side looks more stacked on both the men's and women's. And as far as who I think the early favorite is for the women, I have to go with Bayley. I mean, I think the way they're making her look on SmackDown Live up to this point makes me believe she's the favorite. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, Dee Dee, quick thought?
Well, as everybody knows, there's two of them in this match that I am not a big fan of, and I really don't want to see either of them win, because I remember the last run that we had with Carmella, and basically she didn't win half of her matches on her own. She had somebody out there helping her. So if she gets it this time, she's going to have to really prove that she can do this on her own. Of course, the other one that everybody knows I'm not crazy about is Little Miss Bliss. But as far as for me, who I would see projecting as winning, SmackDown, I would love to see either Bayley or Amber Moon. You know, that would be a different face. Raw, you know, definitely Naomi would be one of my top picks. And a surprise pick would have to be actually Dana Brooke. I mean, I would like to see her actually get a push for a change instead of some of these other little blondes that Vince has the hots for. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and we do go into our main event of the evening, which was the KO show with Xavier Woods. And it was then interrupted by Kofi Kingston. And let me see. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. So give me your thoughts on the KO show.
I thought it was a good segment. I mean, basically, Kevin Owens basically poking fun at not just Kofi Kingston, his opponent, but also the hurt Xavier Woods and the injured Biggie, and then of course bringing out the toys, the toy figures of Xavier Woods and Biggie to really to basically and then basically Kofi shows up, and then basically the brawl was on. I mean, and in the end, it was Kofi who stood tall, saying that he wasn't going to take it from KO anymore. So, so there's really nothing more else that needs to be said. It was a good way to close out SmackDown Live. So, Dee Whitson, I give it to you.
Yeah, this was definitely a segment that highlighted the WWE title match for the pay-per-view. I think we all pretty much knew after Xavier got injured at the beginning of the show that more likely he wasn't going to show up at the end of the show. Plus, Kofi said in one of the backstage segments to him that he was going to handle it. So, it was not a big surprise to see Kofi come out instead of Xavier. Very well done segment. It was a good way to end the show. And it was very much storyline progression for this one, and just a different way to hype up the pay-per-view match. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch, cheers.
Yeah, not the biggest home run. I'll say that very least. It was a good show. This was a good closing segment. The KO show did pretty well. To add more fire to the fuel that's already in the storyline more than anything else. SmackDown Live has always been known for storyline driven stuff. At the end of the day, they served its purpose. It wasn't the most perfect show. You could tell that the talent pool, it has dropped a little bit, which got me a little concerned for SmackDown as a whole. But all in all, I think it was on par with Monday Night Raw. Raw didn't dominate it this week. They didn't really stand out too much, but in the standards of SmackDown Live, they definitely took a step backwards, which is not really that great. And I hope SmackDown does turn it around down the line. But it is what it is. It was solid for what it was worth. It wasn't overly spectacular. It wasn't the perfect show, not by any stretch of the imagination. but I think it was a passable show for what it's worth. So, Anthony, I give it to you.
Fans finally got a taste of the fired up, intense, and vengeful Kofi Kingston after weeks of the influential story and celebration. Kofi was great here, laying into Kevin Owens and sending the dangerous villain retreating to end a segment that did more to create intrigue in an eventual match than anything to this point. Is Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens one of the hottest programs in WWE? Of course not. But it has the potential to be, especially if the WWE champion continues to perform like this. So that's all I got to say about this. Let's get to our overall review here.
And we started off with Didi Woodson. Didi, give us your final thoughts on SmackDown Live.
It wasn't, the best show in the world. Yeah, it kind of took a hit with the ratings this week, and yeah, SmackDown lost some top talent, gained a few guys that could be top talent, but you can't carry a show with just a handful of guys that are going to do big extraordinary things. You had a lot of relative stuff that went on in here. You had a lot of storyline progression. Had a lot of nonsense as well. That women's tag match definitely probably one of the stupidest and low points of the night. I mean, why the heck would you, when you have such ample talent? And I'm going to extend this over to Raw too. If you got great talent on both shows, why would you have your tag teams go up against jobbers? I mean, there's a lot of good people that you could put into these matches. Yeah, you're trying to build up Asuka and Kari, but really, you have to pick two no-names to put in there. And same thing with the supposed first title defense of the Iconics. Really, we had to do no names? I mean, you've got ample talent back there. If you want to do a tryout match with these guys, that's fine, but do it on, like a house show or something that's not so big and where you're going to be trying to build for like a pay-per-view. You don't need to be doing stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of ample talent you could use to fill those positions. But yeah, I'm going to give this about 6 out of 10 stars. Like I said, only reason I'm going even that high with it is, there was the storyline progression. I am going to send some well wishes to Jeff Hardy for the surgery that he's going to have. Speedy return for him, I hope. And can't wait to see what they're going to do with the SmackDown titles now that they're vacant. So, not much more I'm going to say about it. See you guys Monday. Night.
Good night, Didi. No doubt about it. I agree. I mean, this was a 6 out of 10. I wish it would be a lot more better, and unfortunately, it wasn't. It was a good show, not a great show. We were hoping for something a little more positive and a little more amazing, and unfortunately, it just didn't pan out the way we were hoping for. At the end of the day, it was fine. There's really nothing more to say about it. So 6 out of 10. Didi pretty much hit all the talking points that I was going to talk about. So Anthony, I just give it to you.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 as well. Whereas Raw failed to create adequate buzz and excitement about the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view, the April-ending episode of SmackDown Live featured a focus show that steadily built the feuds and superstars that will culminate in the highest of profile bouts. Kofi Kingston's feud with Kevin Owens was enhanced over the course of 2 segments, Becky Lynch battled Bayley in a showdown of 2 of the 4 original NXT horsewomen. Shane O'Max continued to make life a living hell for Roman Reigns. And the men and women involved in the Money in the Bank ladder matches were revealed. So, those were pretty much the highlights here. I mean, Becky and Bayley, I would have to say by default, was the fight of the night. That tag team match with the 4 Money in the Bank competitors on the men's side, the other standout fight there. It'll be interesting to see how they come up with the tag team championship situation. How are they gonna, weigh into that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, now that the Hardys have relinquished the belts, I mean, who's next in line? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Maybe they determine that at the pay-per-view. I don't know. We'll see. But nonetheless, both shows were rather this week. But it is what it is. So nothing more to say on that. Dee Dee hit everything in great detail like she always does. So 6 out of 10 for me. Bullock, wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm going to give it about 6 out of 10 as well. I mean, you guys pretty much hit everything on point, so there's nothing else for me to add. So I'm just going to toss it to Fletch. Fletch, you there?
Sorry about that. Forgot to unmute my mic. All right, guys. So that's it. We're done for the night. Anthony Flair, come on in. If you got a docket for Strictly Sports, hit us with it.
It's only one thing, guys. You know what it is. It's the NFL draft, guys. I finally got a hold of Derek. Derek confirmed it. Yes, Friday night on Strictly Sports will be our annual NFL draft recap special. We'll run down every team. We'll run down who they picked up. We'll also give our grades and analysis. Which teams' picks did we like? Which teams' picks did we not like? I know we're probably going to get a lot of disagreements. We're probably going to have a lot of Steve Harvey facial expressions. We're probably going to have some what moments, but, that's what you can expect on an NFL draft recap show. So hopefully we can, pick up the pace and try to get it done as quickly as we can because it tends to run very long. I don't want it to run too long. I'm hopeful we can get it done within about an hour and a half or 2 hours. So that's what I'm aiming for. That's the target line. So we'll see what happens. So nonetheless, Friday night, 10:30, our annual NFL draft recap special. Be there. You don't want to miss it. One of our biggest shows of the year. MF, wrap it up.
Friday night, 10:30 on the Tone 25. That is it, guys. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. As always, thank you so much for watching this. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.